Hey, Raider Nation, how are you guys doing tonight? And welcome to another great episode of The Unfiltered Truth. I'm your host, Phil Jones. My brother from another, Phil Robinson III, is here. I'm joined by special guest tonight, Antwan Staley and Mr. Jeremy Klump. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good. How you doing?
Excellent.
Doing good. Thanks for having us on, guys.
So, week 3. We got Raiders, Dolphins. Dolphins coming into town. They're 1-1. They're not going to have Tua for this Sunday. Raiders almost had a similar quarterback situation of not having the starter, and Derek Carr is practicing today, and I think we're going to be all right. So, Phil. You're muted. I think you're muted, bro.
Yes, sir.
Phil, what are your thoughts of going in versus the Dolphins?
Slaughter. Kill the Dolphins. You got them on the ropes. They just got blown out 35-0. They got quarterback issues. Defense looks like hot garbage. This is the O-line is god awful. And the Raiders have the best pass rush in the NFL. So my question, Mr. Klump, is what chance do the Dolphins truly have in this game?
I think you hit on it there about the offensive line for the Miami Dolphins right now is absolutely atrocious. The left tackle and the right tackle are huge red flags, which isn't good when, the Raiders have Max Crosby right now, who's one of the best defensive players in football this season. So I don't see the Dolphins winning, especially with Tua out. I mean, Jacoby Brissett's pretty solid as a backup, but I don't think he's the guy to be the starter. You did say the Dolphins defense wasn't too good, but I like the Dolphins defense. I think that's the only reason that they may be able to stay in this game, but the offensive line is just going to be atrocious. I don't see how the offensive line will allow them to win this football game. I have an article dropping soon for my bold predictions for the game, and I think Max Crosby will have 3 sacks or more in the game. That's how bad it's going to be.
I think those are some very excellent predictions right there. 3 sacks for Crosby. What's Yannick going to have?
Maybe 3 as well. Honestly, it's going to be that bad. The Dolphins' offensive tackles are that bad. They are arguably the 2 worst right now offensive tackles in football. And the way the Dolphins fixed that this week was they used their second-round draft pick, Liam Eichenberg, and put him at left guard instead of starting him at one of the tackle positions. So it really doesn't make much sense to me. Tua got hurt on a play when Jesse Davis, the starting right tackle, just completely whiffed on his block. I mean, that's going to happen in the NFL. People are going to miss blocks, but they're regularly missing blocks. It's not good. It is not good right now from the Dolphins' offensive tackles.
Damn.
Well,
so we talking like, Cleveland Farrell could go out and have a sack game.
Yeah, they should make him active this week, honestly, because the way the Dolphins' offensive tackles block, it's not good.
Ooh,
standing. Well, there you have it, Raider Nation. You got nothing to worry about because this line couldn't block a gust of wind.
Wow,
Antwan, would care to get in on this?
Yeah, I mean, Klump just hit it right down the head. I mean, their defense is really good. I really like their defense, but when you having your defense come constantly back on the field, like when your offense is not producing points, then it's going to get tired. So I definitely think that's kind of what happened with the Bills game. It was just kind of a snowball effect, and a lot of unfortunate things, and they end up giving up 35 points, to be honest with you. But I thought they did a decent job against Josh. That's probably the best job they've done against Josh Allen since he's stepped into the league, because he's torched them like constantly throughout the course of their franchise since he stepped into the NFL. But yeah, I love their defense. Xavier Howard is a baller. That's probably something, I think Raider fans are definitely going to have to keep an eye on, because he's been playing really well. Obviously, the turnover against the Patriots that sealed the deal for there, and had an interception last week against Buffalo. But yeah, I mean, offensively, you got Brissett in there, and they're not able to run the football too as well, and the offensive line issues. And you saw the drop passes. The drop passes were definitely a big issue with the Dolphins. They had Devontae Parker had an opportunity in the end zone. He dropped the pass too. Albert Wilson has some drops too as well. Jakeem Grant fumbling. It's some big issues with the Dolphins right now. It really is on really the offensive side of the ball. I know everybody wants to talk about the line, but these receivers are not helping out the quarterbacks when they are getting the opportunity to catch the football.
So in other words, this is like they the bad news bears right now.
Well, I mean, offensively, yeah. Offensively, they're challenged. Like defensively, that's what's going to keep them in the game for a little bit. But when you're playing a team like the Raiders, you're going to have to score like over 24 points at least in order to stay with them. And so far, the Dolphins haven't been able to do. They didn't do it against New England. They damn sure didn't do it last week. So I would, especially with Brissett in there, I don't have confidence they're going to be able to keep up with the Raiders offensively.
So my only thing with the Raiders right now. First half, you've had plenty of opportunities to just say, let's go out there and dominate you. Our defense is doing the job, but offensively, settling for field goals, it's going to come back and haunt you. You need opening drive. You need to go downfield, get 6 on the board. If you got guys that are beating their man or press or, they're exposing that zone coverage, let's work it. Let's get it going. The Raiders have no excuse with this offense right now.
None.
I really, when you go back and look at last year when they played Miami, they had Darren Waller. Darren Waller was just manhandling the Dolphins secondary. It was like your older brother beating up on your 5-year-old little brother, and it was just nasty. So I expect to see the same thing from Waller, but now that you saw Derek Carr now implicating Foster Moreau again back into the offense, that's even scarier.
Yeah, I think, and also, I mean, you got Ruggs in there. He ended up doing a decent job last week too, as well. They got some playmakers and definitely taking some pressure off Waller too, as well. And I feel like I know a lot of people talk about the targets that Waller's gotten, but man, Derek Carr is distributing to all these different types of receivers now. And then I assume Kenyon Drake's going to get some opportunities too, as well, against his former team. I'm sure he'll love that too, as well. But yeah, depending on the status of Josh Jacobs the rest of the week. But yeah, I mean, I think Derek Carr has done a tremendous job just getting the ball to a lot of different receivers so far, from what I can tell.
And that was one of my main problems for last year. I was like, you got all these young guys. Yes, you guys do your whole hype videos where you're at the park. Why are you not implicating these guys like you do at the park on the field? Now you're seeing it. The trust is fully there. I mean, it took a whole year, but you see the trust definitely with Zay Jones. You see it now with Willie Snead. You see it with Brian Edwards and Henry Ruggs. And I'm just like, well, we already knew it was with Hunter Renfrow, but I'm not going to sound like a psychopath, like Dale Gribble in the basement, but this offense, Derek Carr passing yards and touchdowns, he should be throwing for about 5,000 yards this year. He should have about 30-plus TDs.
He's on pace for 6,900 passing yards right now.
If he pulls it off, I'm just going to be like, oh, give him the 5-year extension. I don't give a damn.
Give that man whatever he wants, all of it.
I might just look
this money.
I might get my hair shaped like Derek Carr's.
Please don't.
Y'all see that shit, y'all be like, oh, Lord, here it comes.
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. So I got a question.
I promise you.
I got a question for Mr. Klump. So how good can this Dolphins offense be with Jacoby Brissett back there calling plays and executing the offense?
I think he can execute the offense. The problem, again, is just going to be the offensive line. He's not really going to get a fair chance to showcase what he can do because I don't think they'll be able to protect him. I mean, they weren't able to protect him last week. It was terrible. They should have had way more than – I think it was 6 sacks at the end of the game. Easily should have been more than 6 sacks. I mean, he was at least moving and evading pressure, but it's tough to do. he was working hard. I mean, I'm a little concerned for him. I was concerned for Tua. I thought starting Jesse Davis at right tackle, I actually even said Jesse Davis at right tackle is like, that's how you get Tua hurt. And Jesse Davis got Tua hurt, which is, I mean, you don't like to be right about something like that, but it's just tough right now for the offense to get going. And someone mentioned, I think Phil did, about, the field goals were so annoying, but the problem is, and why that's not even going to be an issue against the Dolphins defense, they have their bend, don't break mentality, which is awesome. But the problem is you can only bend and not break so many times, and then the offense goes 3 and out and gives the ball back to the Raiders, and then they kick another field goal, and then the defense gets tired, like Antwan said, and there's nothing you can do. So I really don't think Brissett is going to get – I mean, a lot of people will probably say he sucks, but I don't think it's going to be on him much. He's not going to have much time to do stuff. And Antwan had another good point. There was drop issues. The receivers weren't making plays like they should have. Will Fuller is back, so hopefully that helps a little. But, yeah, I don't think he has a fair shot right now the way the offense is working, unless maybe they surprise me and they progress out of nowhere and can somehow pass protect. But they can't even run the ball either. Like Antwan said that too. They literally can't run the ball. I think Myles Gaskin had 5 carries last week. Like, if you can't run the ball and you can't pass protect and you're down 24-0, I mean, you're done. It's over. So if the Raiders can get up on them early, it could get ugly.
And how is the rushing defense looking for Miami?
I mean, I feel like that's a big issue again, too. I think I think that's a big issue, too. Singletary had a huge run. I mean, maybe it was 40-plus. Damian Harris dominated them. If he didn't fumble in the red zone, honestly, the Patriots might have walked away with a win there. The Dolphins could have been 0-2. Their run defense is not good. They need a middle linebacker, and they cut one, their starter. I don't understand why they did that, but I mean, it's not looking good. I mean, it's honestly, I thought the Dolphins would have a pretty solid season just because they're playing some pretty bad quarterbacks this year, but I mean, it's definitely not a good outlook right now. Maybe they turn it around, but I got to be honest. I've watched a lot of football in my life, and this is not a very good football team right now.
So it's almost like everything that we're probably expecting from that. So they're basically the worst 1-1 team, or they're close to the worst 1-1 team in the NFL right now.
Oh, for sure. I would say that's a fair statement. Go ahead, Antwan.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, if Damian Harris doesn't fumble, I mean, they're 0-2 right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the reality of the situation. Like, I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean,
for sure.
And Xavier Howard made a great play. Some people may call it luck or whatever, but the man is talented as hell. But yeah, if it wasn't for that fumble, Dolphins would easily be 0-2 right now and staring 0-3 in the face. And you got a tough schedule coming up too. You still got to play Tampa. You still got some games coming down the line. I know a lot of people talked about the schedule being easy for Miami, but you got some games on there that you thought might have been easy, but they're not going to be. Especially just looking at it, you could look at the Carolina Panthers, another team. They're playing a lot better than I think a lot of people expected. So that's not going to be a gimme for Miami either. It's going to be, especially with the issues that they have. Can they get better? Sure. Definitely. I imagine the Dolphins are going to squeeze some games out like they always do and surprise some teams, but ultimately, and I thought this coming into the year, this is probably maybe a 10-win team if all things happen. But the way I see it with the offensive line and some of the issues that they have, it's going to be hard just to get the 9 wins at this point.
Do you think any of the chatter that was going around the league before like training camp or during training camp with Howard being looked at and say, I'm looking to be traded, or the whole thing with Tua being traded and you guys trying to get Deshaun Watson, you think that probably put a mental effect on the team?
For me, like I don't think so. I think they've taken the approach with Brian Flores and just really business. And with Howard, I think it's different. Howard just, that Dolphins always wanted Howard. It was just a matter of working out the contract situation, and ultimately they did. So I think that was a more different situation with Deshaun Watson. I mean, they can say whatever they want to, but the fact of the matter is they've inquired about Deshaun wants to go to Miami. The Dolphins would like him to be in Miami, but the fact of the matter is they don't want to give up what it's going to take to get them down there. That's the bottom line of it. They don't want to give up 3 or 4 first-round picks. But, if depending on how this season may go and, how Tua may play or if he can stay healthy, then they might be in the market for Watson after the offseason. But yeah, it's two sides they want each other. The Dolphins just don't want to give up a ton of picks and the capital in order to do it.
Yep, I think that was well said, especially the Watson thing. I've heard that Watson, his destination is Miami. I mean, he has the no trade clause too, so he can force his way, in a sense, to whatever team he wants to go to. I've heard that's where he wants to go, is Miami. The Xavier Howard thing was just kind of more frustrating than anything. It was pretty obvious that he's their best player. I don't know why they tried to play hardball for a little bit, but I'm glad they got it worked out because, like Antwan said, he's a baller. I mean, he's so good. I think right now he's the only player in the NFL that has a forced fumble recovery, and an interception. So he's so good. Xavier Howard's great. Yeah, I don't think it impacted the mentality of the team per se, though. Definitely was annoying, but I think honestly, the Howard stuff almost helped the Dolphins. I don't know if Antwan will agree with this, but the Howard stuff almost helped the Dolphins in the offseason because it was so annoying every day talking about Tua, Watson, Tua. I mean, literally to the point where, like, I couldn't even go on Twitter some days because that's all people would talk about. So, like, as I was annoyed that Howard and the Dolphins didn't figure it out, it was refreshing to at least have some other news to talk about. So,
yeah, it was all nothing but Tua and, Deshaun Watson talk and then when, the Howard's contract situation, and that was kind of like a diversion for about a couple of weeks, and then it went back to Tua after that. But yeah, I mean, I always knew they were going to get worked out. I mean, he's your best player. Just imagine the Dolphins defense without Xavier Howard right now. I can't. Like, it would be in a terrible situation, like because he's already going to be the best corner in football, to be completely honest. So without him, then you're in deep trouble than what you're already in.
Yeah, for sure. 100% agree.
So, who would someone that the Raiders need to worry about for Sunday's game?
Offensively or defensively?
We're going to go defensively because offensively, I think it's going to be like you're going to need Mr. Miyagi and you're going to need the Pope and everybody to send a wing and a prayer.
So, I'll go first if you don't mind, Antwan. We talked about Xavier Howard. The player for me for the Dolphins that I'm just like in love with right now is rookie Javon Holland. I honestly think he has all pro potential down the road. He's one of the best players on their defense as a rookie, which, is okay, but it also shows that the Dolphins defense does have some spots they need to improve on. But Holland's talented, man. Oh, he's so good. He flies around. He just finds the football, too. I think he had a fumble recovery last week. He's just always around the football. All training camp, he was just catching tipped passes, picking them off, just always being around the football. I think he had a forced fumble in week 1, too. I'm a big fan of his game. So I think if there's one playmaker on defense that I think could maybe help the Dolphins try to stay in this game outside of Howard, I'd say Holland.
Yeah, for me, like I got for one on both sides. Like you kind of stole my Holland pick too, but I'll go with Christian Wilkins. I think the thing with Christian is you may not see it in the stats, but he does a lot of the dirty work. And what I made is like, yeah, he may not make a tackle, but he makes a play in order for another player to make the tackle for you. So yeah, I definitely think he sets people up. He gets penetration, and he does the things that you need to on defense. Like he's well sound. So I do like Christian Wilkins. I definitely think if the Dolphins are going to pull off some kind of upset, I definitely think he'll have to be some kind of factor too. Offensively, we kind of touched on it. Will Fuller. Well, you've seen the Dolphins' issues wide receiver wise last week with the drops. Fuller, they definitely could use a big game out of him, and also, try to get Mike Gesicki involved as much as possible. Those two, that's probably your biggest formula there for success if you have any chance of trying to stay with the Raiders offensively on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll add one on offense. I'll go rookie again here. I think Jalen Waddle's very talented. I think he has a bright future in the NFL as well. But they need to get him the ball more, man. He needs to get the ball. I tweeted something along the lines of like, Jalen Waddle's like this great movie that everyone's getting ready to watch, but the Dolphins are only letting you watch the trailer. They're not letting you see the whole movie. And like, the Dolphins need to just like roll the red carpet out and feature the film because Jalen Waddle is arguably one of their best offensive players. Now that Will Fuller's back, I'd say Will Fuller's one of the best, but you got to get him the ball. You got to give him touches. They drafted him 6th overall. You got to take the training wheels off and you got to see what he can do, not just throw him some quick little RPO slants. You got to start getting him on deep intermediate routes and start going. So
if they can get, I'm about to say, if they could get those deep routes going because I mean, when you're not getting blocked, I mean, you're letting your penetration and the defense getting in there so quickly. They don't have no choice. They can't get them.
Crazy. Yep. I think the play Tua got hurt on. I think it was like 1.87 seconds, which I mean, that's crazy.
So one thing that since you said that, just looking at the Raiders D line, the Raiders overall the defense, they're hardly blitzing, and you're getting that amount of pressure from inside that D line and from the outside. I don't think Jacoby Brissett's going to have any time to even get that done. Now, you said the RPOs. Now, something that I noticed that Roethlisberger, running with Matt Canada's offense, I'm used to knowing his offense back when he was at Maryland, but that was something that they ran to try to keep just to keep the pressure off of them. And I wouldn't be shocked that Miami tried to run it, and I think Gus Bradley's probably going to get ready to expect it, where, okay, now we could probably run like a little bit of a cover 3 press, and a guy like Nate Hobbs could probably jump that route and pick that off.
Yeah, that defensive line I think they're gonna eat. They're gonna eat against the Dolphins too. Like they go. I mean,
it's gonna be rough.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long night too, especially with Max Crosby.
I mean, what type of team are we talking about?
Yeah, it could be a long night too. Like I say, Crosby. I don't have any answer for him. Like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, try to double team him? Hell, like the Dolphins can't even do that right now, offensive wise. So
in other words, the sack it's gonna be like a sack giveaway, like Oprah. So everybody look under your chairs. You get a sack. You get a sack. You get a sack. You all get sacked.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, somebody had said to me before the season started, they were like, the Dolphins had the worst offensive line in football. And I was like, I don't think their line is great, but I don't think it was the worst. But after 2 weeks, this is the worst line in football.
It's the worst. And Antwan said something, too, that is, like, even more bizarre to me. They've been, like, bringing the tight ends in. They haven't even been able to play Mike Gesicki the way they want to play him because they have to bring these tight ends in to help block. There was one play, I think it was maybe it was week 1 or week 2. I'll have to try to find it, but they brought the running back down to help block for Jesse Davis on the right tackle. No one touched the defensive end. He ran right in between them and sacked the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, that was last week, yeah.
I mean, they double teamed him, and neither of them picked him up. He just ran right through. I mean, that's how bad they are right now in pass protection. It's atrocious.
So in other words, he's going to be saying, "Mama, help me."
I feel bad for him, honestly. Like, I hope he doesn't get hurt. I mean, I'm worried for any quarterback that's back there right now for the Dolphins, just because it's not like they're breaking down every now and then. I mean, the first drive of the game, they gave up 2 sacks to the Bills. The first drive of the game. Ooh. So it's not good. I think they're the first team ever in Pro Football Focus history to have 55% of their dropbacks with pressure. 55%. I mean, that's
55%.
55% of the worst team in the NFL right now. It's crazy. It's almost like it's fake someplace, honestly.
55%.
It's 55%. Yep.
55.
Y'all about to make me get off my damn seat and walk away.
Well, I got to tell you, gentlemen, this is definitely taking a turn. I wasn't expecting this. I was ready to trash your team, but you guys have beat me to the punch. I mean, 55% pressures, worst O-line in the league, no offensive threat. You can't deploy your tight end the way you want to. Will Fuller is your best offensive weapon. Boy, this is bad. Like, this looks like it's going to be a rough year for you boys.
Well, I mean, it was a rough Sunday, and then even the Patriots game, I believe. I wasn't impressed with the offense, to put it that way. I was not impressed with the things they were doing. I thought, like I say, defensive wise, I thought they were really impressive. I thought they're as good as they were last year. They've gotten consistent. One thing saving grace about the Dolphins is the defense and the turnovers. They've gotten turnovers like in all these consecutive games. So they're going to try to do that, try to keep that streak alive. I imagine they probably will at some point on Sunday, but that's really their saving grace in the way they're going to try to stay in this football game, trying to get turnovers.
So I put it like this, Antwan. The Dolphins defense basically looked like the Raiders defense last year for the first 2 games.
I mean, I'll give it more credit than that. I think the Dolphins defense was really good last year too, until they ran into the Bills. They had the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL, and then it went from 1 to 6. It would get that ass whooping down there in Buffalo. But no, I think they're really opportunistic. Like I said, they get turnovers. It's just a matter of like you're putting on like pressure on those. Like the last week, the Bills, like they just kept having to come back out there on the field. And then Raider fans are, know this reference well. Talk about the Golden State Warriors too. I mean, they continue to put pressure on you, and then obviously, I think with the Raiders are going to try to do the same thing. You keep going, putting that defense back there on the field. You have all those tired guys. And then, eventually, as kind of Klump said, you're going to break. That's pretty much what it boils down to. You got these big guys that are going to continue to be on the field about over 30 minutes per game or whatever the case may be. And eventually, you're going to wear down. And I think that's probably what's going to be the case on Sunday, too.
Damn.
Well said.
Damn.
Man, I think I'm about to start crying. I mean, this got Christmas morning written all over it. Just a straight give me, but
I'll say this though, like the Dolphins usually surprise people when they think they're gonna get beat down. So
yeah,
I would say at least I don't think the Dolphins are gonna win, but I would at least expect a somewhat better effort out on Sunday, at least initially.
Definitely, yeah.
If they can start hot, if the Dolphins can start hot and at least score a touchdown and get up 7-0, I mean, it'll be a better ball game. But if they start getting down, it's going to be rough if they have to keep throwing the ball. But if they can finally run the ball, they just can't run the ball. But if they can run the ball and play defense, that's how they're going to have to win football games. So they got to score points. They got to score them early, and they got to get the lead and let their defense play. Their defense is solid. I 100% agree. I think they're one of the best defenses in the NFL. They have some young guys, obviously, like I said, with Holland. Jalen Phillips was the first-round pick, who really hasn't done much, but hopefully he can get going. I don't know. They have to score points. It's that simple. If they can't score points, obviously that's the name of the game in football. You're not going to win. They just need to score more points.
Man, after seeing how Solomon Thomas was generating pressure inside the middle of the Steelers O-line, I was like, man, you talking about trying to get the running game going with Myles Gaskin? Man.
But I am curious. So how good is the Dolphins defensive line? Because I know that the Raiders offensive line has been patchwork, and they've enjoyed a little bit of success against Baltimore and Pittsburgh. They haven't necessarily got their running game up and moving the way that we expected to. And I really think that that's more of a line blocking issue than a running back issue. But just touch on that for me. How are the defensive ends, and what is that defensive line looking like?
Go ahead, Antwan.
I was just gonna say, for me, I think it's been average. Like I think they've had some issues getting pressure on quarterbacks consistently. At least that's kind of how I feel. And I think they're still looking. I mean, they ended up drafting Jalen Phillips in the first round this year, and the big thing on Twitter today. Was him not knowing cover 3 coming into the league, and obviously Phillips played at Miami, and Manny Diaz was his head coach. But I mean, you're still having some players that are still trying to learn the system, especially the young guys there. But I just don't think you're getting consistent pressure like the way Brian Flores wants it from his team, because what they want to do is be able to get pressure and then have their corners and secondary ball out. And then, I think you're having half of that, because the secondary, I think, is really good for Miami. You talked about Holland and obviously Howard, but you're just not able to get that consistent pressure like how you want to. And I think that's definitely an issue. And, if that could continue to be an issue later on in the season.
Yeah. I'd say Emmanuel Ogbah is their best pass rusher, obviously. I think he had 9 sacks last year. One of their best defensive linemen, Raekwon Davis, isn't playing. He's out, so that's not good. I mean, he mentioned Christian Wilkins. Antwan did. I like him too. I think he's solid, but he's not one of those game-breaking defensive tackles. No. it'll be interesting. I think you said it best. I mean, it's okay. They're just not where they need to be. Like Brian Flores, if their defensive line could get constant pressure, I mean, their secondary is so good. They have Byron Jones as their cornerback too, which is, I mean, he's pretty solid as a cornerback too. And I mean, Jason McCourty's been playing awesome. Got the Twins mixed up there, but Jason McCourty's been a great addition to the defense. Obviously, that veteran leadership at safety, and he rolls down some plays. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that the defensive line has been as good as they can be. Maybe this is the game. Now you say the Raiders maybe won't pass protect as well or something. Maybe this is the game they can get going, but they definitely need more pressure. They need more sacks for sure.
Dang. So
I mean, I'm speechless in probably the best way possible. I mean, I'm struggling here to think of how much better can it be for the Raiders and what else can I think of? Because, but to Antwan's point, and especially with the Raiders organization, is they've had a history of getting boat raced by teams that they should have slaughtered.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I grew up a Raider fan. Trust me, I know.
Whoa.
Like, you ain't got to tell me.
Right. And I would say collectively between the four of us, we don't see a path to victory for the Dolphins at all. But yet somehow I just got this nagging feeling that Jacoby Brissett is going to turn back the hands of time or do whatever the hell he is, have an out-of-body experience, some shit. And he's going to get out there and try to put one on us real tough.
Yeah,
I'll tell you something.
Look, yeah.
Well, go ahead, Antwan. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, look, I mean, the Dolphins going in there with how nobody thinks they're going to win. They have all these issues. The sky is falling, especially coming after last week. You get your ass kicked by the Bills again. Yeah. And then now you can refocus. I think they'll come out with a better effort. The key for me, and, Klump hit it on the head, like just starting early. Yeah, you got to get started early. You got to get some points on. You can preferably touchdowns, but yeah, you got to get a touchdown early and give your defense a chance. You go out 3 and out like how you did last week, or your offense struggle early on, then this could be a long day because, like I say, this Raiders team can just score points just like that, and then you're not going to be able to catch up at all. Like, so you gotta be balls to the wall early. You got to set the tone. If that's the only way the Dolphins can have a chance in this game.
Yeah. And you mentioned Brissett. You just said if he gets like an out-of-body experience. I think Antwan will agree with me when I say this. I honestly, I hope that doesn't happen for one reason. I mean, Dolphins Twitter, if Jacoby Brissett goes out there and plays incredible football and the Dolphins pick up a huge win, an upset win over the Raiders, I mean, you're starting from all offseason it's been about is two of the guy. I mean, it's going to make it even worse. I mean, it is going to be it's going to be impossible to even tweet about the Dolphins, and it'll be scary.
Yeah, you're putting gasoline on a fire again. That's pretty much like you're going back to last year with Fitzpatrick and Tua. That's pretty much what you're going back to. Yep. And I expect Tua. I don't think he's going to play against the Colts either. Like anytime you got a fractured rib, and he comes out and says it on a Wednesday that he's out. So for me, he's probably gone for 2 games at least. Like they may not put him on IR, but I think he's gone for 2 games. So if
you see how the boy built.
Yeah, if you see how that's another issue with Tua because he's a small guy. You're not getting them offensive line help, and what do you expect? But yeah, my whole thing too is if Brissett goes out there win 2 games in a row, you're talking about a whole different animal now.
Yep, agreed, 100% agree.
Man, all I can really say is this: if the Raiders got the ball, you got to score 6 on that opening drive. You got to set the tone to where we can keep this going all game long. I mean, not just we're going to go 3 and out here and 3 and out there, and then we'll come back and kick a field goal and still be able to maintain and let them stay in the game. I think this is going to be a game where the Raiders need to show everybody who their true identity is because everybody's like, they can score, they can make their adjustments to the second half. They got a good defense, they got a good offense, but they don't like to take advantage of games that are in their hands. And they've had, and Phil said that earlier, like it's been so many games where, okay, yeah, they got the Raiders winning this, and they should really blow them out. And then all you see is that the Raiders are just really falling apart here. Like, prime example, the Atlanta game from last year.
Oh God, that was terrible.
So if people really want to take the Raiders serious, you got to get rid of games that are winnable for you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm just trying to put like the Dolphins down. I got respect for them. No matter what, I got respect for all 31 teams because as Admiral Auerbach always be saying, it's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say this though, and yeah, you hit it right there. Like you talk about the Jets game with the Raiders last year. The problem ain't with the Raiders winning games against quality opponents. We saw that they played the Chiefs very well. It's about them beating the teams they should beat, and that's the reason they didn't make the playoffs last year. Like they didn't beat the teams they were supposed to beat. And then when you're trying to get in that upper echelon of teams, especially in the AFC, yeah, it's easy to get up for Baltimore and Pittsburgh, but yeah, sometimes you got these games against team that you should on paper should dominate. Like let's just call it what it is. Like you got to take care of business. You want to get in the playoffs. You want people to take you seriously. This is the games you got to do it, especially in the AFC West where Denver probably ain't going nowhere. Kansas City, we know what they about. And then the Chargers are going to be somewhere around there lurking too. So it's going to be a tough division. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. But yeah, these are games you definitely have to win.
But Antwan, the Broncos are 2-0, bro. What do you mean they're not going to be anything?
No, I said they're not. I said they're not going anywhere.
I know that they're not, but I've just heard all about how the Orange Crush all over again, and all hail to Teddy H2O.
Oh no, I ain't saying all that, but no, I do like their defense though. I like their defense. Like it's Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, the jury's still out on that, but I think defensively, that team is definitely gonna keep them in it.
Yeah, Teddy's just holding the spot till they get their real quarterback.
Pretty much, yeah. He's a placeholder.
He's played well though. Teddy B has definitely played the best football so far.
Play?
Yeah, I know. No, trust me, I know. But I'm just saying, Teddy B hasn't looked bad. Not turning the ball over. That's how you win games.
That's what they want. That's the reason they went to him instead of Drew Lock. Yeah, that's exactly why.
Everybody's told me Drew Lock was the answer. Drew Lock was the GOAT.
Yeah, good times when he did that, when he was singing that song on the sideline, and everyone thought it was so cool. And now look at him.
It never ends well after having watched Marshawn do his thing, gigging out there at the Coliseum. When you start dancing on the field, other teams, they really, really don't seem to like that too much and don't want to see it ever again.
Yeah.
But so really on that secondary, the Raiders got to worry about, because Byron Jones is playing safety, or they got him at corner.
He's cornerback.
Yeah.
He's opposite Howard.
Okay, so Jones, Howard, and then Holland's playing the safety, right?
Yep. And they got Eric Rowe. He'll be on Waller, obviously, which didn't go so well the last time.
And then you'll see McCourty too as well.
Yep, McCourty as well.
So somebody want to sing "In the Arms of the Angel" again?
Yeah. It's Eric Rowe is a pretty solid tight end safety. He covers the tight ends very well at the safety position. But Waller's a different beast. He's just really so good. He's incredible. He's so fun to watch. He's so explosive. He is a wide receiver playing tight end technically. So
but the way Waller did him last year, Waller did it like he wanted to hurt him.
Take lunch money.
No, Waller made it where he sent that man into a deep depression. That man had to go to therapy during the off season.
He's okay though. He's a good player.
Yeah, he is. It's just you're against one of the best tight ends in football. So you're not.
That's
90% of the players probably do the same thing too. So it's it's a losing battle. It's a losing battle every time you go up against somebody like that.
So my last thing to kind of just wrap things up. Would you possibly say that with the way things have been going with this Raiders offensive line, do you think they'll be able to have success against the Dolphins defensive line in this game?
I would say yeah. I know Richie didn't practice on Wednesday, so I guess that's something to watch out for. That's another person I'm sure wants to kiss the Dolphins' ass, but they're here or there. But yeah, I think they got enough forces on that offensive line at least this week to be able to sustain what the Dolphins are going to do. So yeah, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think they'll be good. And we kind of touched on the whole idea too, where I don't think they're going to start as hot as you think. Like, I think the Miami defense will keep them in it early. I mean, they were still in the Buffalo game in the first half, too. The defense was somehow keeping them alive. I think the same thing will happen in this Raiders game. But the problem is, those big guys, they get worn down, and the offensive, those linemen are just going to start pushing them. And that's where it gets tough for the Dolphins. You can only bend and not break so much. And that's going to be the issue. I mean, I think the Dolphins D-line will be able to hold up to start the game. If they can't score points, it could get ugly. They're going to get tired. Some of their depth pieces aren't there. So yeah, I don't know. I think the Raiders offensive line, even if Richie doesn't play, I think it's going to be okay. I think they'll be fine.
So how's the Dolphins defense against screens and stretch plays and possibly RPOs?
I honestly think the Dolphins defense matches up well against pretty much anything, to be honest. The only thing that they struggle with is stopping the run. I mean, their secondary. I mean, I even think Baker he's not very good in the run game, but he can fly around the field too if he needs to. I think they're very athletic when it comes to, the quick game, the screens and all that. I think they tackle pretty well for a team. I mean, they're well coached. It's a Brian Flores defense. It just comes down to the run defense. I mean, there's plays when I think Singletary, again, I forget the exact number. Don't quote me, but I think it was like a 40-plus yard touchdown run, and it was effortless. I mean, it was effortless. So I hope that they can stop the run, but Jacobs might not play. I don't think he's going to play. That turf toe injury is kind of something that Raiders fans, if there's anything that Raiders fans should be concerned about, in my opinion, when I saw him switch that cleat, that's usually not a good sign for turf toe. That's usually he may need surgery, which we'll see what they do with it. But I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to be as big of an impact this year as people think. But they do have Kenyon Drake, and I'm sure, like Antwan said, he's ready to play the Dolphins.
So I looked at his injury report. They took the toe injury off, and it's really just the ankle.
Oh, well, then if his turf toe is good, then I thought he still had the turf toe injury. When I saw him switch cleats, usually turf toe like that, when you can't even put the different cleat on, they put I think it's like the metal one they put on then. That's never good.
No, trust me.
As long as he doesn't have turf toe, then I think he'll be fine then. I thought he still had the turf toe injury.
Nah.
If he's got no turf toe, then yeah, watch out. Not good.
But other than that, I think we really just hit on everything that we needed. We give you a little bit of we give you a little bit of Raiders. You guys give us a little bit of the Dolphins, and now we just sit back and watch the game play out. So, gentlemen, Antwan, Jeremy, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. It was fun. We got to do this again, whether it's like Dolphins, Raiders, whatever it is, we got to do it again because I enjoyed this conversation here.
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, definitely. Thank y'all.
So, hey, that wraps things up. Remember, you guys, if you missed part of the show, you guys can go on YouTube, subscribe to the Unfiltered Truth. But before we even do that, how rude am I? Jeremy, Antwan, tell them where they can find you at on Twitter. You promote anything that's coming out.
Good, Antwan.
You Antwan Staley on Twitter. Mine is pretty easy. Just my name. It's simple.
Kiss.
Mine is a little different. Mine is Nutty X Professor. A lot of people don't get it, but Eddie Murphy, Professor Klumps. That's where I got it from.
Sherman.
Oh yeah, I actually met. I've been asked this a lot. I've been asked this on a lot of shows. I actually met Eddie Murphy in California.
Really?
And he didn't believe my last name was Klump, and I pulled out my license. So I have a picture with Eddie Murphy with him pointing at my license that says Klump because he thought it was the funniest thing in the world that there's actually someone with the last name Klump in the world. So.
All right,
it was good.
You definitely gotta post that out.
I'll try to find it. It's like old school. You got to think that's like the normal printout pictures. I'll have to try to find it, but yeah. Right. So only thing I have to plug writing wise, I I have an article dropping tomorrow. I'm sure Antwan will hear about it from Dolphins Twitter. It's in regards to Tua, and it's
God.
The main premise of it is asking if Tua really truly is the future of the Dolphins, and it's a real good deep dive. I mean, it's long, and it's not biased at all. It's just truthful stuff, and kind of little sneak peek. I end it with Tua is who he is. I mean, he's Sam Bradford, Jake Locker, Marcus Mariota, Robert Griffin III, Carson Wentz. Injury prone in college and injury prone in the NFL. That's just how it comes to me. It's going to be ugly. I mean, I'm sure Dolphins Twitter will not be a good place for me tomorrow, but it is what it is.
Turn off mute the notification.
Oh, I will.
Mute them.
It's dropping at 7 in the morning, and I won't be on Twitter till probably like 10 at night because it is going to be
notification because you know what time it is.
I'll come back on Twitter. My face will be up on the mountain, Antwan. It'll be a good time. But you know what? I honestly. I don't really care that much. You got to tell the truth sometimes, and I'm not being biased at all. Like Dolphins fans, they have to understand. I mean, Tua, Antwan said it too. I've heard that he might even be out even longer, 4 to 6 week range. And I mean, if Tua's out 6 weeks and Jacoby Brissett plays well in those 6 weeks, you can't sell me on the idea that Tua is the future anymore. You really just can't. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can't be the future quarterback if you can't stay healthy. We've seen it how many times? It is what it is.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but wish me luck. So tomorrow's probably my last day.
I'll definitely check that out though. But
it's good.
Now I gotta check it out now.
I mean,
look, if you speaking the truth, man, you came on the right show.
He has
speaking of truth, man. Speaking of truth.
8 injuries since 2018. 8 significant injuries. 4 surgeries. 4 surgeries.
Man.
And a small guy, a very small guy.
That's what it is. He's that hit he took. And that's what a lot of people have been killing me for today.
Yeah.
That hit he took in the game, he took a hard hit, but quarterbacks take that hit every game, man. I mean, it's part of the playing quarterback in the NFL. You're going to get hit. And I don't know. It's tough. It's unfortunate. I think he has the talent to succeed, but if he can't stay healthy, the talent's never going to matter. You got to stay healthy.
Yep.
Well, hey, other than that, it's the end of the Unfiltered Truth. Remember, subscribe to the show on YouTube. If you missed tonight's show, you weren't able to tune in because I know some of you guys got them graveyard shifts. Hey, the show will be uploaded on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Podcast. You guys can check it out there. And y'all know where to find me and Phil Robinson. Phil Robinson III on Twitter. And my dance moves and madness and just speaking the facts. Phil Jones NFL on Twitter.
Hey, cover your 6 at all times, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
Other than that, this is the Unfiltered Truth. You guys take care. God bless. Enjoy your evening. All right.
All right, guys.
Take care.
All right, take it easy.
Take care.